Hi, Kevin Ledoux, the Pragmatic Luthier. I'm back again today. I've been making a fingerboard for an acoustic bass guitar, and normally I arch these on a jig that I made years ago, but this fingerboard is too long for that jig. So I've been, as you can see here, I've been hand planing this to a 16-inch radius. I did a video on that, I don't know, a year, maybe 2 years ago. You might want to check that out. Uh, and it works pretty well. And I have a gauge here also. This is a 16-inch radius gauge that I made years ago. And I can check my progress with that, especially if you shine a light through that. It gives you a real good picture of where you are. Well, you can dial that in pretty close, but there's nothing like the security of one of these 16-inch radius beams with some abrasive on it to even that out and make that arch nice and consistent and get your so that the crown, the high point, is dead center and so on. There's nothing like one of these to do that with. Well, today, after 30 some years of guitar making, the obvious finally hit me, so I thought I'd share it with you. Well, that obvious that finally came to me was a way to keep this sanding beam traveling so that it's traveling perfectly straight and parallel to the edges of the fingerboard in question. I double face taped my fingerboard down to do my hand planing, but then I thought, well, this is simple enough. I just took a nice piece of wood here. It's got to be fairly thin. This is probably 5/16 of an inch thick, toward a half an inch maybe. And I clamped this parallel to my fingerboard. And what I wanted to do was get it clamped so that the center of my fingerboard coincides with the center of my beam. And I've managed to do that by simply moving this clamped piece back and forth until I get it where I want it. And I just used this blade of this square. Can you see I'm placing it down in here between the board and the fingerboard as I clamp it down, and that keeps that distance consistent, and therefore the travel of my sanding beam nicely straight and parallel. Now all I have to worry about is consistent down pressure as I'm progressing. So there it is. I'm sure a whole bunch of you have thought of this or something maybe even easier or maybe more sophisticated long before I did. But just in case it hadn't occurred to you, I thought I'd share this. Thanks for watching. Kevin Ledoux, the Pragmatic Luthier, and I'll be back again, I guess, when I got something that's really maybe a lot more important than this. Who knows? Thanks again.